Jessica is the granddaughter of a powerful real estate tycoon, and at the start of the coming year, she is expected to step into the role of CEO, taking over her grandfather's company. After losing both of her parents at a young age, Jessica was raised by her grandfather until she finished college. Even now, she often looks back on a treasured photo from her childhood, a Christmas vacation spent with her parents in her mother's hometown, a small place called Glenbrook. The story briefly shifts to Glenbrook, where firefighters are inspecting a sacred town bell after it suffers an electrical failure. The bell holds deep meaning for the community, since every Christmas Eve the townspeople gather to ring it while making a wish, a tradition that has been passed down for generations. Later that night, Jessica reunites with her grandfather Harold, who is hosting a company celebration. At the event, she meets a man named Lucas, who immediately comes across as warm and charming. Approaching her 30s, Jessica quietly hopes to find love. At first, she assumes Lucas is romantically interested, only to realize he is actually more focused on a business partnership and expanding their professional network. After the party ends, Jessica finds herself thinking again about her parents' love story, which began in Glenbrook. She remembers how her mother once made a wish under the Christmas bell, a wish that eventually came true when she married Jessica's father. That memory brings back the legend of the bell, said to grant wishes on Christmas Eve. Yet Jessica has never heard it sound herself, since her last visit to Glenbrook with her parents ended before Christmas arrived. This is where her journey back to that town truly begins. Welcome to a Glenbrook Christmas. When Harold checks in on her, Jessica suddenly asks for permission to take a short holiday in Glenbrook. She plans to stay at an inn that once served as her mother's childhood home. Curious about the bell and its legend, she promises her grandfather that she will return by Christmas Day. To avoid attention, Jessica arranges to swap cars with one of her employees so the locals will not recognize her as Jessica Morgan from a wealthy family. Not long after arriving in Glenbrook, Jessica accidentally bumps into a man named Kyle with her car. Thankfully, he takes it lightly and simply reminds her to stay focused while driving. When Jessica reaches the inn, she is welcomed by the owner, Wyatt, who already knows she belongs to the Morgan family. Jessica asks him to keep her identity private, explaining that she wants to enjoy her time without people treating her differently because of her wealth. Hearing that Jessica is visiting for the holidays, Wyatt shares a list of upcoming Christmas events around town. He also explains that the bell's mechanism is badly damaged, and this year, the town may be forced to cancel a tradition that has lasted nearly 70 years. While settling in, Jessica panics after causing a small incident with the fireplace because she does not know how to properly use the chimney. Soon after, the fire department arrives, and Jessica realizes that Kyle, the man she nearly hit earlier that day, is one of the firefighters. After checking the house, Kyle advises her to keep the chimney airflow open to prevent future problems. He also casually mentions their earlier encounter, which leads his coworker Ruth to discover that the two of them have already met before. The next morning, Jessica visits a local coffee shop, where she meets a friendly resident named Shirley and is also introduced to Terry, a woman who runs the town's art center, and invites her to stop by for a visit. Since Glenbrook is such a small town, both Shirley and Terry have already heard about the smoke incident at the inn. They even know about Jessica accidentally hitting Kyle with her car, which leaves Jessica surprised at how quickly gossip spreads in a place like this. After leaving the cafe, Jessica heads to the church she once visited with her parents. There, she runs into Kyle again, who has just finished checking the bell's mechanical system. As a lifelong resident, Kyle feels genuinely disappointed, knowing that this year's Christmas Eve tradition may not happen at all. While talking about the holidays in Glenbrook, he offers to walk Jessica to the art center so she can respond to Terry's invitation. When Jessica arrives at the art center, one of the students mistakes her for a substitute teacher. Jessica does have a background in art from college, but she politely turns down Terry's request to have her teach painting classes. The following morning, Jessica goes to the fire station to buy a Christmas tree for the inn. Ruth, who already suspects that Kyle has feelings for Jessica, subtly makes sure the two of them run into each other. To keep things from feeling awkward, Jessica chats with Kyle for a moment before choosing a tree. Since she did not bring a car, Kyle kindly offers to help her carry the tree back to the inn. Once there, they begin to open up about their lives, sharing stories about parents they have lost. The difference is that Kyle's mother is still alive and currently enjoying a cruise vacation with her friends. Kyle also talks about a past relationship that once led to an engagement, Unfortunately, it fell apart because his former fiancée did not want to live in a small town, and their lifestyles simply did not match. After hearing this, Jessica asks how he would feel about someone who had millions of dollars. Kyle's uncertain reaction only makes her more hesitant to be honest about her own wealthy background. As they decorate the tree together, Kyle accidentally notices some of Jessica's artwork, which she usually creates as a personal hobby. At the same time, a magazine featuring Jessica and the Morgan family business lies on the table, prompting her to quickly hide it before Kyle can make the connection. The next day, Jessica returns to the art center and learns that Terry still has not found a substitute teacher for the children. Trusting Jessica's talent and spirit, Terry once again asks her to help teach, believing she can inspire the kids with the true meaning of Christmas. Outside the art center, Jessica meets Kyle, who explains that repairing the town's bell will cost $10,000. With neither the town council nor the church able to afford it, the beloved tradition of making wishes on Christmas Eve now seems more uncertain than ever. When Jessica returns to the inn, she receives a call from her grandfather who asks how her holiday in Glenbrook is going. Jessica tells him about the broken town bell, and Harold happily offers to cover the repair costs for the sake of the community. Afraid her true identity will be revealed, Jessica turns down his offer and explains that she has another idea to raise the money. Hearing this, Harold agrees and senses that his granddaughter is truly enjoying her time in Glenbrook. Later that evening, Kyle comes to the inn and invites Jessica to an event hosted by Wyatt. While there, Jessica shares her wish to finally make a wish beneath the bell, something she never had the chance to do during her childhood visits with her parents. Determined to make that wish come true for everyone, Jessica reveals her plan to organize a fundraiser at the art center. She explains that they can sell the children's artwork along with other donated items to raise money for the bell's repair. To help the plan succeed, she also intends to promote the event on social media, hoping to attract visitors from neighboring towns. At first, Kyle feels uncertain about the idea, but with no better options, he and Terry agree to support Jessica's plan. After the event planning wraps up, Jessica shows Kyle a photo from her childhood, taken during a visit to Glenbrook with her parents. She admits that she always dreamed of coming back on her own, a wish that only became possible after learning that her mother's former home had turned into an inn. As Jessica begins to trust Kyle more, she feels ready to confess her true identity as a member of the Morgan family. Before she can, Terry suddenly joins them, excited to share how enthusiastic the children at the art center are about the fundraiser. Together, Jessica and Terry announce that the fundraising event will take place in 3 days. Not long after, Terry approaches Jessica privately and admits that she discovered online that Jessica belongs to the Morgan family. With her secret out, Jessica explains her real reason for coming to Glenbrook, which is to relive the beautiful memories of her parents. She never expected to fall in love there and promises to explain everything once the fundraiser is over. Later that day, Kyle invites the children to the art center for the annual Christmas story session he usually hosts. This year, he asks for a volunteer and chooses Jessica to join him in reading to the kids. Afterward, Jessica helps the townspeople prepare items to sell at the charity event. Everyone hopes the funds will be enough to repair the bell, especially since Kyle has already contacted a mechanic to fix it before Christmas Eve. That evening, Kyle invites Jessica to dinner at the fire station. As they head home afterward, Jessica hints that she has something important to share once the fundraiser is complete. When the day of the fundraiser finally arrives, the art center fills with visitors, including one of Jessica's old friends named Brigitte. Terry opens the doors, welcoming everyone to shop for gifts and support the cause as the town comes together for Christmas. After the event comes to an end, Terry shares the good news that they have successfully raised $10,000. Just as Kyle is about to call the mechanic, he receives an unexpected message from a friend revealing that Jessica is the granddaughter of Harold Morgan. Feeling guilty, Jessica tries to explain that this is exactly what she planned to talk about once the fundraiser was over. Kyle is not upset about her family's wealth, but he cannot hide his disappointment, knowing that Jessica had not been honest about her life from the very beginning. The next morning, Jessica decides it is time to return to her grandfather's home. Before leaving Glenbrook, she stops by Shirley's cafe to say goodbye and thank the people who have shown her such kindness during her stay. Not long after, Wyatt arrives at the cafe to return Jessica's sketchbook, which she accidentally left behind at the inn. Ruth quickly shows the drawings to Kyle, pointing out that the pages are filled with sketches of him, making it clear how deeply Jessica truly cares. The story then shifts to Jessica's journey being delayed by a landslide along the road, Because of this setback, Kyle manages to catch up with her and reflect on his words from the night before, realizing that he failed to understand her feelings, even though they come from very different backgrounds. He comes to see Jessica's arrival in Glenbrook as fate and urges her to return, reminding her that her original reason for coming was to make a wish beneath the bell. When they arrive back at the inn, Jessica is surprised to find Harold already there, eager to spend Christmas with his granddaughter. She introduces Kyle to her grandfather and shares that she has found true happiness in this town. As her heir, Harold assures her that she can run the family business from anywhere she chooses. Jessica also expresses her desire to establish a charitable foundation for the Glenbrook Art Center, which reminds Harold of Jessica's mother and her lifelong passion for helping others. Later, as the townspeople gather in front of the church, Kyle gives Jessica the honor of beginning the Christmas Eve tradition. Jessica rings the bell, allowing everyone to make their wishes at last, bringing the story to a warm close as she and Kyle share a loving kiss. So the moral of the story is, if you are rich, bored, and confused about love, just go to a small town, break a bell, hide your identity, almost burn a house, and somehow Christmas will fix everything.